From the moment Kanye West sat down with DJ Akademiks in that dark, hooded robe, the world braced. A man once hailed as a genius, a provocateur, now publicly confessing what many dared only whisper, that he never wanted to have children with Kim Kardashian, and perhaps never truly loved her. This bombshell dropped into an already volatile custody battle, and it sent shockwaves through pop culture, tabloids, social media feeds, and the hearts of fans who once saw them as a power couple. His remarks weren't casual slip-ups. He claimed that just 2 months into the relationship, he realized he didn't want to build a family with Kim. "I didn't want to have children with this person after the first 2 months," he said, owning the weight of that admission. But that wasn't God's plan. To say this is merely a hurting man speaking his truth is to underplay the spectacle. What does it mean when a man who fathered 4 children can declare that he never wanted to have them? When the children are North, Saint, Chicago, and Psalm, public and private legacies of a union that once captivated millions. Ye's confession shadows the image of joint custody, the legal settlements, and the careful public co-parenting choreography. It tears at the fragile fabric of what we thought we knew about the Kim-Ye narrative. Let's rewind. Kim and Kanye began dating in 2012, married in 2014, and over their years together became the power couple of media obsession. They had 4 children, negotiated custody after separation, and split ways publicly but not quietly. Their divorce was finalized in November 2022, with an agreement that included joint custody and $200,000 monthly child support. Kim was awarded primary physical custody, and Ye committed to splitting educational, medical, and security costs. But the peace was always brittle. Even before the divorce, cracks showed. Disagreements about control, mental health struggles, public embarrassments, and the constant glare of fame. Then came Ye's downward spiral. Anti-Semitic remarks, wild social media rants, collisions with brands and allies, erratic behavior. He lost endorsements, respect, influence. People began questioning, is this man unraveling or revealing what's been underneath the veneer? Now, he sows fresh embers in the fire. I regret getting her pregnant. The meaning of choice, of consent and relationships, of power and projection, it all swirls here. He frames his regret as responsibility, but also as a confession of deceit, that for years he lived a lie. Whether that lie was self-deception or calculated performance remains open to debate. Kim has responded, though quietly. On the Kardashians, she reflected on her marriage. When you don't foresee something happening that really changes a person's personality, you can't ever get that person back. She admitted she never wanted to end the marriage over something personal, but circumstances forced their hand. Her confessional tone hints at heartbreak, disappointment, and the betrayal of expectations. Meanwhile, Ye's interview was theatrical to the point of grotesque symbolism. He sat draped in a black hood and robe, recalling the aesthetic of the Ku Klux Klan. The visual shock and the comparison it evokes is not accidental. It magnifies the tension between whiteness and blackness, control and identity, fatherhood and ownership. He claimed that he doesn't own name and likeness rights over his own children, that this white woman and this white family had taken control over kids who are half his. The racial tone, the sense of grievance, the resentment over control, all of it feels like a performance of martyrdom. In public reaction, the voices are garbled. Some say Ye is in pain, traumatized by fame, mental health, and motherhood. Others say he's manipulative, rewriting history to gain sympathy or legal leverage. Some see a man grasping at relevance in an industry that's left him, seeking headlines by weaponizing his children. Many wonder, what of Kim's voice, presence, agency? Her side buried in the clamor. There's also the custody battlefield. Reports suggest that Kim is considering removing Ye's joint legal custody altogether, citing his erratic behavior and his use of their children in controversial songs. Ye once featured vocals from 11-year-old North on a song that Kim had not approved. The slip-ups have teeth. This is not just a messy breakup anymore, it's a legal war over identity and rights. And in the war, perception matters. A parent claiming, "I never wanted children," is bullets in the courtroom. Ammunition in public sentiment. Yet, even as Ye unloads, contradictions remain. He fathered those children. He publicly championed legacy, lineage, influence. He built music around love, romantic obsessions, devotion. Now he erases it. And Kim, a relentless force in her own right, has built empires, endured scrutiny, fought for justice causes. Their divorce was never just personal, it was emblematic. Now it's myth and scandal merged. What's the legacy of their love story? A beginning of glamour, affirmation, icon status, a middle of tension, misalignment, rumors, mental health battles, an ending that feels like tragedy, betrayal, and theatrical confession. This latest chapter, where Ye claims he never loved or wanted to have children with Kim, isn't just another tabloid headline. It's a reinterpretation of the entire story. In that reinterpretation, everyone becomes suspect. The husband becomes villain or victim. The wife becomes martyr or survivor. The children become symbols, not people, public property in the media's eyes. The real victims may be the four of them, caught between adults who once loved but now battle. But here's the part that twists the knife. Kanye's confession doesn't exist in a vacuum. It sits on top of a decade of contradictions, love songs, televised affection, and public meltdowns. For years, he told the world Kim was his dream girl, the one who inspired Bound 2, the muse who stood by him when the world called him crazy. And now, he's rewriting that entire era like it was a mirage, a performance that even he no longer believes in. The audience can't help but ask, was it all a lie? Or has he simply decided to burn everything that once defined him? When Yes speaks, he doesn't filter. He detonates. Every word lands like shrapnel, hitting everyone in range. Kim, the kids, the fans, even his own legacy. It's a pattern that's become familiar. Ye builds an empire, then flips the match. And this time, it's not about business, it's about blood, family, love, and the children he's now distancing himself from emotionally. He claims he didn't want them, but you can feel the sting of that statement in every old photo. Kim holding North during Paris Fashion Week, Yes smiling beside them at the Met Gala, the family dressed in matching beige at their Calabasas home. Moments that once defined the Wests are now relics of a truth he says never existed. Behind the headlines, insiders whisper something darker, that Kanye's confession may be part of a bigger strategy. Some think it's revenge, others think it's desperation. He's been losing control one piece at a time. His brand deals, his public image, and now, potentially, his parental rights. The claim that he never wanted kids could serve as emotional warfare, a way to provoke Kim right when she's reportedly considering taking full custody. In Hollywood's quiet corners, that kind of statement isn't just careless, it's calculated. And Kim knows how the game is played. While Kanye rants in podcasts and interviews, she's been choosing silence. But silence, in her world, speaks volumes. On her reality show, she doesn't mention his name often, but when she does, it cuts deep. You can't ever get that person back, she said, her voice breaking just enough to make the pain believable. What she doesn't say out loud is what everyone already knows. You can't heal from a man who keeps reopening the wound every time a camera turns on. Let's not pretend this is just another celebrity feud. This is two empires colliding. One built on art and rebellion, the other on image and influence. Kanye sees himself as the misunderstood visionary, punished for truth-telling. Kim sees herself as the survivor, forced to clean up the chaos. The irony? They both built their brands on exposure, and now that exposure is destroying them. Meanwhile, fans are divided. Some stand by Ye, calling him brave for speaking his truth. Others call it cruelty disguised as honesty. How do you tell the world you never wanted your children? One viral comment read, "That's not confession, that's emotional abuse." The public sympathy is fracturing, and even Ye's most loyal defenders are growing quiet. It's one thing to attack the industry, it's another to publicly disown your family. But Ye's world doesn't revolve around sympathy anymore. It revolves around control. That's been the real war all along. Control over narrative, control over legacy, control over who gets to define him. When he lost Kim, he didn't just lose a wife, he lost the one person who could balance his chaos. And when he lost that balance, he started fighting everyone. Brands, friends, the press, even his reflection. Then there's the religion. He calls his confessions divine truth, says God's plan stopped him from leaving Kim sooner, that he was bound by fate. But people who once believed in his spiritual awakening now see contradictions everywhere. The man who once preached family values now says he regrets his own. The man who called himself the best father alive now dismisses fatherhood as a mistake. The Gospel of Ye keeps rewriting itself every few months, and no one, not even he, seems to know which version is real. Kim, meanwhile, is doing what she's always done best, turning pain into power. She's leaning into motherhood more publicly than ever, sharing moments with her kids, emphasizing stability, peace, and control. Everything Kanye's life seems to lack. To some, it's authentic. To others, it's strategy. Either way, it's working. Public sympathy leans her way now, and Ye's latest confession might be the final nail in his reputation's coffin. But even with all this chaos, one haunting truth lingers. They're still tethered. No matter what Ye says, he can't erase the bloodline, the shared history, the countless memories that built their empire. Every time he speaks her name, the world listens. Every time she posts a family picture, his shadow looms behind it. They're locked in a cycle. Love, rage, regret, repeat. So when Ye says he never loved Kim, maybe he's really saying he can't love anyone without destroying them. Maybe he's confessing not out of truth, but out of exhaustion, from carrying the weight of his own contradictions. Or maybe, just maybe, he means every word. That's the maddening thing about Kanye West. You never know if he's confessing or performing, healing or hurting. As the camera pans out on this latest chapter, the picture is clear but messy. A man stripped of illusion, a woman rebuilding from the wreckage, and 4 children caught between 2 versions of reality. The truth, like always with Kanye, is somewhere in the chaos. And if history has shown anything, it's that this isn't the end. It's just the next episode in a story that refuses to stop burning. And that's the story. A love that built an empire and then tore itself apart in front of the world. Kanye's truth might be raw, but it's also a reminder that even legends can drown in their own contradictions. Was it honesty or just another performance? Drop your thoughts below, because this saga between Ye and Kim is far from over.